This is the Satin Lounge. Breathe it in. Our guest for Pillow Talk tonight is a New Orleans native, a resounding voice in the LGBT community who believes that she's here on divine assignment, which I happen to agree. She's here to bring some tools to help you and, well, us define and fulfill our dreams, our greatness. She's an MC, a poet, a motivational speaker, educator, spiritual development expert, I love that, a host, and has been featured in numerous publications and television shows, including The Oprah Winfrey Show. And she is also the author of The Grown Woman's Guide to Greatness, which she will be sharing with us tonight. Satin Lounge, please help me welcome, excuse the expression, a grown-ass woman, Lakara Foster. Welcome, Lakara.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm excited, too. I'm so excited that you're here. Your book is phenomenal. Excited to learn more about you, and in doing so, I feel that we'll learn more about ourselves as we are all connected in some way.
Yes.
I read that one of the catalysts in moving towards you becoming an author was the profound advice that was shared with you by Oprah Winfrey on her show. Can you tell us about that experience?
Oh, certainly, most certainly. I got the opportunity to be a guest on the show back in 2001, and I was in graduate school and kind of just trying to figure out what it was I wanted to do with my life. And, for all intents and purposes, I think I kind of felt like a fraud. I had these degrees, and I was working with children, and I was trying to encourage children to find out what they wanted to do when I, in fact, didn't know what I wanted to do. But I knew that there was something that I was supposed to be doing. And so I got an opportunity to go on that particular show, and it was called A Quarter Life Crisis, being in your 20s and trying to figure out things. And we kind of went through the show, and she asked questions and all of that good stuff that you see on the show. But, like I tell people, the real show for me started when the cameras turned off and the lights were off. And we got an opportunity to have an intimate conversation with Miss Winfrey. And, we were kind of bombarding her with questions because, of course, you kind of want to be on that level. How do we get to that level?
Yeah.
And, she just simply said, she said, the problem with your generation is you're not connected to the source. And she said, but once you get connected to the source, all of the questions that you ladies are asking me, you'll get the answer to. And so, thus the journey begins. And I didn't realize that I had been on this journey until I was writing the intro to the book, which I actually wrote last. I'd written all the chapters and all the good stuff first, and then, talking to God and asking, okay, what is this book really about? And he took me back to that experience. And then I realized that, Oprah had told me what I needed to do, but she didn't tell me how. And that this book tells us how to do it. It tells women and men, how to do that, how to connect to the source, how to get to that higher power.
Exactly. Lakara, exactly. That's what I was so excited about when I got a hold of this book, because, there's a lot of incredible advice that floats around in the universe. Most of it is inside quotes and so forth, but the practical guide to the steps 1 and 2, sometimes it's hard to find those. And I'm so happy that you took the time to do that. Satin Lounge, the book that we're referring to tonight, again, is called The Grown Woman's Guide to Greatness. Let me read this quote. It says, do you feel like there is a calling on your life and a purpose deep inside you that wants to come out? You are here on divine assignment, and it is time to commit. This is what being grown is all about, hastening to the call. I love that entire phrase. What does divine assignment mean, and how does one know what they are called or assigned to do?
I think it's, for me, and when I'm doing my workshops and I'm doing seminars and people ask this question, I say sometimes you have to really think about, sometimes you got to go all the way to the beginning. When we were kids and we were, playing make-believe, and that thing that you may have really wanted to be when you grow up. And I know for me, I was 5. And, my friends, even at this age, they always say I talk a lot. And when I was 5, and I got my first report card, and, my mother and father, they were kind of discussing the grades, and they seemed to be very excited about it. And I was 5 at the time, so that was good. Except for when the teacher's comments came. And the teacher's comments, she said, Lakara is very good at what she does, and she's a great leader, and she does this and does that very well, but she talks entirely too much in my class.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so my father, he turned to me and he said, unless you are getting paid to speak, then I suggest that you be quiet in that woman's class. Well, for me, it was like, what? There are people that get paid to speak? Like, well, that's what I want to do.
Well, that's
if
it.
I can get paid to run my mouth.
Right.
And so for me, I feel like that spark was ignited at that time. And I always known that, I really liked helping people, and I love talking to people, and I like encouraging, and I like empowering. And it was just figuring out how to put all of that together and still serve my purpose with it. So, I just kind of tell people, look at the things that you love to do. You know, what is it that you would do for free all day long, you know, and that, and it comes easy for you. Also, just kind of praying and meditating and just kind of asking God to, show me where I'm supposed to go, put me where I'm supposed to be, and just watching that unfold from my life.
This book, The Grown Woman's Guide to Greatness, it has 8 spiritual principles in it. Could you just take a moment and kind of give us the premise of the book? What is it about in a capsule? What is this book about?
This book is about, again, helping people to discover what their divine purpose is, and just really helping them to get to the next level. And a lot of people, they read the book, but then I go back and I say, well, did you do the exercises? And then they say, well, they got to go back and do the exercises, because that's where the heart of it is. It's really getting to, the meat and potatoes, because there are some things, and I tell people that exercises, that's the real work, And I think in lesson 1, one of the exercises is tell the truth about everything. One of the exercises asks for you to go back and apologize to some people, and to forgive some people. So it's a lot of different things in there, but really just, if you're ready for your life to go to the next level, if you're ready to discover what your purpose is, if you already know what your purpose is, but you're ready to put some action behind it, then that's what the book is really about.
Yeah, you got to make some moves. It goes beyond words. I will say that. One of the things I found really interesting was that you hold a bachelor's degree in psychology and criminal justice and a master's in education. Yet you reference in this book that those accomplishments, they didn't make you a grown woman. They made you a growing woman. What is the difference?
Well, for me, and I discovered this while writing the book and really asking, I do a lot of talking to God and a lot of meditating and a lot of praying. And, when I'd written the title, The Grown Woman's Guide to Greatness, and then for me, I had to figure out what that meant. And then one day, in my meditation, I realized that I was being grown in that I was being obedient to the will, and I knew that this was something that I had to do. I had to write this book, and I had to tell my story, and I had to share some things that I hadn't, some experiences that I hadn't shared with my parents, and I hadn't shared with my friends, some past hurts and stuff. And so it was really putting it all out on the table. Right. And it was some times that I just didn't. I was like, okay, I'm not going to write this book. I'm not going to. I'm not going to turn it over. I'm not going to send the editor what she needs. I'm not going to do, and so being grown meant going, getting through with the process, doing the process, and realizing that it wasn't about me. Right. It was about some other people needed to be healed, and some other people needed to grow. And so I had to use everything that God had taken me through so that other people could grow and heal as well. Well,
I found your book inspirational and informative. Again.